And so I'm curious where this entrepreneurship stuff came from. Were you always interested in this? And how did you come to creating your own company?
Yeah, I was always an entrepreneur at heart. When I was in high school, really, I was training quarterbacks as like a quarterback school, just making an extra buck, but really just doing what I loved and coaching, grade school kids, middle school kids on just their fundamentals. That was really the first business I would say I was running. But then college comes around, and before NIL, you couldn't do any of that. Like there was no business, there's no side hustle. If you were doing something, it had to been under the counter, which you're really not messing around with that if you're a starter. Like at the end of the day, so for me, NIL was really just an opportunity to be my truest self, be my fullest form of who I can be, and really, I saw a lot of success with NIL my first year, my fifth year, and when I decided to come back for my last one, I just wanted to do something different. I wanted to help other student athletes really monetize and build their brand, be able to do something outside of sport because, it is one thing to talk about, how I built it during football, but really, I don't see it as much of a burden. I don't really see it as much as a deterrent because what I did was I built a hell of a team around me with Limitless NIL. Every single person in that group is fantastic. I could go down the list of all of our partners, our employees that work alongside of us, and I built a great team, which is the same thing as having a great team with football. And really, from a system perspective, I put the system that we trusted and that we work on into place, so that way I can take a step back when I have to and focus on what's the main goal of playing for the Green Bay Packers. Because my team knows that is not only bringing us business and bringing us opportunity, but it's really at the end of the day who I am. So I don't really see it as something out of the box. I just wanted to be prepared for when I was done with ball. I wanted to be ready for whenever that time comes, whether that be next year and something happens and it's not meant to be, or if it's 15 years down the line and I have 5 Super Bowls under my belt and we're talking, it's a whole different conversation. Who knows? The world, it could go a million different ways. But how I see it is when I'm done with football, for me personally, I know that from a mental health, from a future perspective, I already know what I want to do. I found another love right alongside football, and that's in the entrepreneurship space. That's in the business space. That's in the venture capital world. That's in all those conversations that I've had with so many different people. And that was because I took a step forward. I took a step out of the box to try to find something that I could really, call my own. And, when I made the company, that's really at the end of the day what it was. It was something that when I went out on the field for my last year at Penn State, I always knew that no matter what would happen, it wasn't the end all be all. Football was not going to be what defined me. It's the other things. It's all the other opportunities that are out there. And that's really what I want for other players. I want them to be able to play free, knowing that, yes, you have goals and aspirations and all those different things, and those are still on the table. You should go after them as hard as humanly possible. But there's nothing wrong with having something outside of sport, because it does just give you that peace of mind that if something goes wrong here in this sport, that you don't know what could happen. There's injuries, there's problems, there's cuts, there's management changes, there's coaching changes, there's transfer portals, there's a million different things that could possibly happen that you can't control. But the one thing you can control is finding something outside of sport that you love. And that will give you peace of mind that whenever it is done, whenever I have to hang up the helmet, I do have the next step of my life. So that's, just me. I might be different. I might be crazy for that, but I really don't. I mean, I talk to guys all the time, and that's really, I think there's going to be a new trend. I think there's going to be a new way of going about this where you can be your own business. You can be a businessman, play at a high level.
You've obviously played football nearly your entire life. What lessons from football do you look to implement in your business ventures? And when you talk, when you think about entrepreneurship and building businesses, investing in businesses, what are maybe some overlaps between football and business that you look to implement?
Yeah. When I look at founders and when I look at, just myself, it really goes back to the core values that I found at Penn State. The 4 core values, which is positive attitude, great work ethic, compete in everything you do, and must be willing to sacrifice. And on the football field, that's easy, you know. Bring a positive attitude, have a great work ethic, compete, sacrifice time and effort and all this. That's simple to be able to lay out there. But in the business world, it just looks a little different. Like having a positive attitude, it goes in every walk of life. Like when you're in a group meeting, or when you're speaking to somebody, or when you're trying to make a business deal, like just having a positive outlook on that deal, or having a positive outlook on that opportunity will just change your whole trajectory. You know, positive attitude, great work ethic, putting as much time and effort as you see fit, that goes with everything. You know, work ethic, competing, sacrifice, all these different things, all the intangibles of what makes sports great. People don't talk enough about how it just is the same. If you just take the constructs of what you learn in sport and just apply it directly to what you're doing, with no fall off, if you attack with the same mindset, good things will come. And I know it might not be as sexy, it might not be as flashy as playing in front of hundreds. Trust me. Like, I don't know if I'll ever find the same love and high of playing in front of 100 people. Like that was such a great opportunity. But I've closed the book on that, and I'm going to look for new ways to find that same way that I feel like I'm part of a community, that I'm part of something bigger than myself. And I encourage everybody to do the same, because it's those core pillars, it's that kind of mantra that will make your life meaningful and make it worth, doing something cool.